Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I want to start today by asking you to picture a specific moment.
Okay.
You're in a meeting. Maybe it's a high-stakes negotiation or maybe just, a difficult performance review.
Been there.
You know all the vocabulary. You understand every single word being spoken. But somehow you still feel like you're missing something.
Missing the point, the subtext.
Exactly. You're missing the subtext.
That is such a universal feeling. It's the uncanny valley of fluency. You can be grammatically perfect and still be, socially tone deaf.
That's the perfect way to put it, is that gap between textbook correct and actually effective. And today we are closing that gap.
I like the sound of that.
We're looking at a collection of high-frequency English expressions that act as a phrase book for real life.
Mm-hmm.
But we aren't just going to define them. We're going to tear them apart to understand the strategy behind them.
Right, because using the right phrase at the right time isn't just about grammar.
No. It's about power, empathy, and control.
Words are tools. I mean, some are hammers, some are scalpels. Today, we're looking at the scalpels.
The scalpels, I love that. The phrases that help you navigate, everything. Professional polish, awkward tension, and the mechanics of decision-making.
So where do we start?
We have to start with professional Polish. This is the stuff that makes you sound like you belong in the C-suite, even if you're just grabbing coffee.
Okay.
And there's one distinction in our materials today that I think trips up even native speakers. It's the battle between value and invaluable.
The invaluable trap. This is a classic.
It is. Because logically, usually means not, right? Invisible, impossible. So invaluable sounds like it should mean worthless.
Right. It sounds like a negative.
But if I tell a colleague, your help on this project was invaluable, I'm definitely not insulting them.
No, quite the opposite. You're paying them the highest possible compliment.
So break that down. Why?
Think about it this way. If I say you are valuable, I'm basically putting a price tag on you. I'm saying you are worth X amount of dollars to this company. It's transactional.
It's a transaction. It's a mid-tier compliment, you know?
That's a really interesting way to frame it. Valuable is quantifiable.
Exactly. But invaluable means your contribution was so critical, so unique that I cannot put a price on it. It's off the charts. It removes the ceiling.
So if you want to make someone feel indispensable, you don't use valuable.
You use invaluable.
Oh, you do wonder, though, is there a risk of it sounding sarcastic? Like, oh, yes, your advice was invaluable, as the project just goes down in flames.
Well, sure. Tone is everything. I mean, any compliment can be weaponized with the right amount of snark.
Sure.
But sincerely used, invaluable builds loyalty. It tells the person, I couldn't have done this without you.
Speaking of things we can't do alone networking, there's a whole cluster of phrases here around the word touch.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like touch is one of those words that carries a lot of emotional weight in a professional setting.
It does. It represents connection, but it also represents skill. Take the phrase, we lost touch after college.
Right. That carries a subtle confession of guilt almost. It says, life got in the way, and I regret that our connection faded.
Which is a very human way to restart a conversation. It's vulnerable. But then you flip it to the skill side. Wow, you haven't lost your touch.
That is one of my favorite compliments. It's doing two things at once. First, it validates their past. I know you used to be good at this.
Okay.
And second, it validates their present. You are still a master. It's incredibly affirming, especially for someone who might be feeling a bit rusty or, insecure.
It's like telling an old musician they can still shred.
Exactly.
Now, what about when you need something? We've all been in that spot where we need an introduction, but asking, hey, give me Bob's number.
Just aggressive.
Transactional.
Yeah. That's why the phrase, put me in touch with, is so powerful. Is there someone you could put me in touch with?
You aren't asking for data. You're asking for a bridge. You're asking to borrow their social capital.
It's softer. It implies a warm handoff rather than a cold call.
Moving from one-on-one to the group dynamic. Let's talk about recognition. The shout-out.
This has really moved from pop culture into the boardroom, hasn't it? Big shout out to Sarah for putting this together.
Is that better than just saying, thank you, Sarah?
Oh, way better. Thank you. It's between me and you.
Private.
A shout out is public theater. When a leader gives a shout out, they are amplifying that person's status to the entire room. It builds morale because it signals, I'm a leader who sees the work you're doing.
It's benevolent. That makes sense. It's about visibility. But sometimes visibility comes from luck. You just stumble into a win. The phrase here is a happy accident.
It was a happy accident in my career. I love this because it balances humility with success. If you take credit for everything, you sound arrogant.
And if you say it was all luck, you sound incompetent.
Right. Happy Accident says, I was in the right place at the right time and I was smart enough to capitalize on it.
It makes you relatable. People like lucky people. They hate perfect people. Okay, so that's the sunny side of the street. We're polishing our image, giving shout-outs. But we need to shift gears. Because the reality of business and life is that things get tense, people get angry, motives get murky.
This is where language stops being just a tool and becomes a shield, or sometimes a weapon.
Let's talk about transparency.
Yeah.
This word is everywhere. I want to be transparent. It sounds great.
It does, but it's a double-edged sword. You have to be extremely careful with the direction of this word.
What do you mean?
If I say, I want to be fully transparent with you, I'm claiming the moral high ground. I'm saying, I am honest. I am hiding nothing. It builds trust.
But if I turn it around and say, you are so transparent,
Ooh.
then you have started a fight.
Right. It sounds like an insult.
It is an insult. It means I can see right through your lies. It implies your hidden agenda is painfully obvious.
So I am transparent is a virtue. You are transparent is an accusation.
Never confuse the two in a meeting unless you are ready for a real conflict. That is a crucial distinction. It's all about who's being looked through. Now, when the conflict actually happens, when voices get raised, how do we de-escalate without taking all the blame?
You use the passive voice. I'm sorry, things got heated this morning.
Things got heated, not I yelled, not you yelled. The situation
It's just ignited.
Yeah.
Exactly. You are blaming the atmosphere. It lets both people step back without losing face. You acknowledge the emotional temperature. It got heated without pointing a finger at who struck the match.
And if you know there's a topic that is going to strike another match,
You flag it as a sore spot. It's a sore spot, so I wouldn't bring it up.
that's such visceral imagery. A sore spot. It's not just an annoyance, it's a wound.
It evokes pain. It tells the other person, if you poke this, there will be a reaction. It's a very effective warning label to put on a sensitive topic.
But sometimes you can't just warn people off. Sometimes you have to draw a hard line. And we have the phrase, non-negotiable.
Family dinner is non-negotiable. This is the door slam of conversation.
It is.
When you say something is non-negotiable, you are signaling that the debate is over. You aren't interested in their arguments.
It feels very powerful, but also risky. You can't use it for everything or you just taste like a stubborn.
Right. You save it for your core values or your absolute bottom lines. There's no room for compromise. If you use that over which font to use on a slide, you're a tyrant. If you use it for safety standards or ethics, you're a leader.
Context is key. I want to lighten the mood a bit because no room for compromise is intense. There's a phrase in our collection that bonds people through shared misery, the dramatic, there goes.
Yes, there goes my diet. There goes my weekend.
It's theatrical, isn't it? Someone drops a pile of work on your desk at 4:55 p.m. on a Friday.
And you just sigh, well, there goes my weekend. It's a way of complaining that invites empathy, not annoyance.
How so?
If you just said, I am angry about this work, you sound difficult. But if you say, there goes my weekend, you sound like a tragic hero. It invites your colleagues to say, oh man, that sucks. It builds solidarity.
It's the us against the world vibe. One last thing on tension managing expectations. We have the caveat and the formality.
There is a caveat. This is your legal disclaimer in a casual conversation. It protects you from overpromising.
Right.
But it's just a formality. That is a fascinating phrase.
I feel like it's just a formality is what people say when they want you to stop asking questions and just sign the paper.
It is the ultimate minimization technique. You are taking something that might be a big deal, a contract, a background check, and framing it as a tiny bureaucratic hurdle. Don't worry about the fine print. It's just a formality.
So when you hear that, your alarm bells should actually ring.
They should ring loud and clear. That's the deep dive tip of the day. When they say it's a formality, read the fine print twice.
All right, we've survived the tension. Now we actually have to do the work, make choices. This brings us to segment 3, the mechanics of decision-making.
And there is a lot of psychology buried in these verbs.
For sure. Let's look at the difference between making a rash decision and agonizing over one. I agonized over this decision. It sounds painful. Why would I want to tell my boss I was in pain?
Because it's an insurance policy. If you make a quick decision and it goes wrong, you look reckless. But if you tell your stakeholders, I agonized over this, you're telling them, I looked at every angle, I lost sleep over this, I took this seriously.
So if it fails later, it's bad luck, not negligence.
Exactly. You've established your diligence, you're protecting your reputation.
And to do that diligence, you need information. You need the full picture.
I need to get the full picture. That's a standard request, but flip it. It feels like I'm not getting the full picture.
Ooh, that's passive-aggressive.
It's a polite way of saying, you are lying to me by omission. It puts the other person on the defensive. It forces them to reveal what they're hiding to prove you wrong.
It's a pressure tactic. Now, once you have the picture, you have to steer the group. But you don't always want to be a dictator. You want to use soft influence.
That's where leaning comes in. I'm leaning towards the blue option. I lean more towards Sarah's thinking.
It's gentle. You aren't planted like a tree. You're just leaning.
It signals your preference without closing the door to other ideas. It invites others to lean with you. And if they're stuck, you give them a nudge.
She just needs a little nudge. It sounds so helpful. I'm just helping you.
It frames manipulation as assistance. You aren't forcing them, you're just nudging them in the right direction.
And when you finally get everyone to agree, you seal the deal with the ultimate corporate phrase, mutually beneficial.
This is the phrase that signs contracts. It reframes the entire interaction. It stops being a zero-sum game where I win, you lose.
And becomes a puzzle we solve together.
This arrangement is mutually beneficial. It's the linguistic handshake.
Now, sometimes you have to take a risk. A bold move.
That was a bold move. Be careful with this one. It can be a compliment. Wow, that was brave. Or
it can be a nice way of saying, you are insane, and that was a mistake.
it's all in the delivery. That was a bold move.
And if it works,
I have to admit, I didn't think you would pull this off.
pull this off. It implies a heist, like the odds were against you.
It acknowledges the difficulty. But what if the decision wasn't a home run immediately? What if you hated the new logo, but now you're okay with it?
You say, it's growing on me.
Yes, it's growing on me. That is such a face-saving phrase. It allows you to change your mind without admitting you were wrong initially.
Right.
It frames it as an evolution of your sophisticated taste rather than an error in judgment.
I love that. My taste has evolved.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in the home stretch. Segment 4. We call this the admin sprint, but I actually want to slow down here. Because people dismiss logistics, scheduling, notices, admin as boring. But I think there is a huge power dynamic in how we manage time.
You are absolutely right. Time is status. How you talk about time defines who holds the power in the relationship.
Take the phrase first thing Monday morning.
If you say, I need this first thing Monday morning, you are asserting authority. You are setting the priority.
But if you are on the receiving end, trying to get a meeting with a VIP, you say,
Thank you for fitting me in.
fitting me in. It implies their schedule is a solid wall of importance and you're lucky to find a crack in it.
It defers to their status. Same with short notice. Thank you for seeing me on such short notice. You are apologizing for disrupting their flow.
On the flip side, if you want to be casual and lower the status gap, you say swing by.
Swing by the office around 3. Swing by is great. It removes the pressure. It suggests you don't need to prepare. This isn't a summons. Just pop in. It makes you seem accessible.
Now, let's talk about the word notice. It feels like a legal term, but we use it all the time. And it has 3 very distinct flavors.
It really does. You have the terrifying one. Until further notice.
Classes are canceled until further notice.
It implies an indefinite suspension. It's limbo. It creates anxiety because there is no end date.
Then you have the definitive one.
Give notice. I gave my notice. That's the point of no return. You quit.
And finally, the helpful one.
Advance notice. Thank you for the advance notice. That's all about preparation. So one word notice can mean limbo, termination, or preparation. You have to listen to the context.
Let's wrap up logistics with how we talk about effort, because a lot of admin work is invisible. And if you don't acknowledge it, people get resentful.
That's why the phrase, I can tell you put a lot of effort into this, is so crucial. Even if the result isn't perfect, validating the labor matters.
And if you're the one listening to that labor,
Let me jot that down.
why jot? Why not write?
Write sounds formal, like a transcript. Jot sounds active and immediate. It signals, I am capturing the essence of your brilliance right now. It makes the speaker feel heard.
And finally, the handoff. You've done the prep work. You've done the legwork, as the source calls it.
The legwork, the running around, the foundational research. Once that's done, you say, I'll let John take it from here.
Take it from here. It's clean transfer of power.
It is. It empowers the next person. It says, I have set the stage, but now the spotlight is yours. It's a leadership move.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today. We've gone from the nuance of invaluable to the strategy of agonizing over decisions.
We've seen that these aren't just vocabulary words, they are social levers. You pull them to adjust the temperature in the room, to shift power, to build bonds.
Before we go, there is one last phrase I want to leave everyone with. It's the ultimate permission slip. When someone asks, can I ask one more question or can I interrupt?
You say, by all means.
By all means.
Right.
I love that. It's not just yes, it's yes, and I welcome it.
It's gracious. And in a busy, stressed out world, being gracious is a superpower.
So here is our challenge to you for this week. Don't just operate on autopilot. Don't just use the words you learned in 10th grade English. Try to use a scalpel. Use invaluable when someone really saves the day. Use SourceBot to protect a colleague.
And if you want to sound like you really know what you're talking about, use the phrase, take it from me.
Take it from me.
It establishes your experience. And finally, allow me to elaborate. Don't just give data, give context. Paint the full picture.
That is the difference between speaking a language and communicating with people.
It really is.
Go out there, make a bold move, and see what happens. And if it goes wrong,
Just tell them it was a happy accident.
or tell them you agonized over it. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.
Take care.